Today is December 2023, and yesterday, around 5 p.m. Central Time, democracy died in the United States just a little bit. Welcome to Azimuth Podcast. I'm here with my wife, Kimberly McNabb, and I'm Barrett McNabb. So, an explosive ruling by the Colorado State Supreme Court disqualifying Donald Trump from being on the 2024 ballot. Right now, it looks like it's the primary ballot, but would that also apply to the general election if Donald Trump is the nominee? This is an absolutely explosive revelation that's coming out of Colorado, where they used the 14th Amendment, and specifically the third section of the 14th Amendment, in order to disqualify Trump for inciting and participating in planning an insurrection. Kimberly, what have you heard?
Well, first of all, federal law doesn't really define insurrection. Usually courts and legal experts define it as a violent rebellion or organized resistance against government or its regulations. And, we don't even think Donald Trump organized January 6th.
In fact, he did tweet out, you need to protest peacefully.
Exactly. And so he did not encourage the violence. In his January 6th speech, I skimmed most of it. It's quite lengthy, and he kind of rambles a little bit. And yes, in one part he does say, "We will fight like hell," but then it's like, "We will walk to the Capitol." Like, when you're violent, you're not walking. You're running, you're charging, you're fighting, and stuff like that. And then
and fighting like hell, that is a euphemism that's often used. I mean, you're going to try really hard, right?
Exactly. And that could be in a legal, through legal systems and whatnot. But also, it's the Colorado Supreme Court, which I believe their job is not to define the federal constitution, but their own state constitution.
Yeah,
Does that make more sense?
It makes absolute sense. I mean, I don't understand why a state Supreme Court would interpret the Constitution, specifically the 14th Amendment, to the Constitution in lieu of a federal court determining this. Now, we have the initial judge that ruled, that was a district judge in Colorado that ruled, and it was Judge Sarah B. Wallace. In her district court ruling of Colorado, she looked at three sections of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And so there was a couple of questions. Was it an insurrection when Trump supporters stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021, trying to stop the certification of the 2020 election? If so, did Mr. Trump engage in that insurrection through his messages to his supporters beforehand, his speech that morning, and his Twitter post during the attack? Do courts have the authority to enforce Section 3 of the 14th Amendment without congressional action? And does Section 3 apply to the presidency? Now, she said that all of those answered were yes, with the exception of that it applied to the presidency. And her rationale was that the president takes a different oath of office than the other officers of the federal government. And because his wording in his oath of office is different, it precluded the presidency. Now, interestingly, the state Supreme Court, who are all Democrats, reversed her decision from a 4-3. So 3 Democrat judges did say no, but it was a majority rules. But still, they're interpreting the Constitution. And let's all remember that there are 91 indictments against former President Trump. However, he has not been convicted of anything yet.
Exactly. This does seem, we know of things going on against Donald Trump, but it does seem a little quick. Well, they didn't have discovery, evidence presented, witnesses, nothing. It's just like, hey, we don't like this. Okay, this is what we decide. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, there's been a number of challenges to whether Donald Trump can be on the ballot in Michigan, New Hampshire, etc. And those have all been shot down. However, by the Colorado Supreme Court issuing this ruling and Trump campaign has said, look, we're appealing, directly to the Supreme Court, whose jurisdiction it is, really kind of puts a quick timetable on the Supreme Court justices to solve this matter. Now, the Colorado court did stay their own injunction on having Trump on the ballot because in anticipation that it was going to go straight to the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court's got a couple of things that they're looking at Trump for. I mean, he has the special prosecution that is, wanting to, make the argument that Trump is not immune and can be prosecuted. He doesn't get a free pass for being the president, and so Trump has appealed that to the appellate level, and the special prosecutor has jumped the appellate level and gone to the Supreme Court to have them rule that there's no presidential immunity. Now, the significance of this is the trial date is set for March of 2024, and he wants to have the trial move forward as planned. If the appellate court slows things down, not because they want to, but because it's an important case and they need to take multiple months, and then it gets appealed to the Supreme Court, which takes more months. The fear of the special prosecutor and this Biden administration is that Trump will not yet have been prosecuted by the time the general election rolls around. So here we are. He is trying to speed up the timeline in order to make sure that Trump has the ability to go to trial and potentially be prosecuted before the general election.
Well, that's a separate case.
It's a separate case, but they're thinking about that.
This case is a little alarming to me because there are other states who have not ruled on this yet,
right,
and Texas being one of them. And so this sets a precedent.
Sure.
What if other states say, "Hey, Colorado did it,"
right.
And so, this is just a dangerous precedent, not just for the states, but courts saying, "Hey, we don't want someone we don't like on the ballot."
Right, and that's really what this gets to. And the point I was trying to make is the Supreme Court now has another Trump thing on their docket. And I can promise you, when the justices woke up this morning, if they went to bed early, they probably said, "Oh shit,
I got to work Christmas."
I mean, well, yeah, we got to work Christmas, but still, this is not something that they want to be in. The Supreme Court has always tried to be apolitical. Mm-hmm. They've been getting kind of a bad rap for seemingly jumping into politics, but this would be here we go again, the Supreme Court jumping into politics, and so to have multiple cases on such a short suspense. Now, the March trial for the special prosecution is, it's got a little bit of legroom to stretch out. The Supreme Court stayed their own ruling until January 4th, which is a super short time frame.
Well, also, I believe that's the deadline to get on the ballot in Colorado.
January 5th is the deadline to get on the ballot. And
Vivek Ramaswamy said that he would not put his name on the ballot in Colorado if Donald Trump can't be, and he's urging the other Republican candidates to do the same. So what if they were to do that, there would be no Republicans on the ballot in Colorado, or let's say this trickles down to other states, they follow suit. And then the DNC, so then you have no Republican on the ballot, and then on the Democrat side, the DNC only wants Biden.
Right.
So, okay, you have Biden versus like Cornel West or Marianne Williamson.
Right.
And so that's one reason why we think democracy really is under threat here, because you're removing choices. And this is America. We deserve choices. We demand choices.
Absolutely.
From not just how we customize our hamburger or what kind of car we drive or what kind of house we build, but who we can elect as president.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, Kimberly. You're right, spot on. I mean, this truly, over the past year, there's already been this feeling, especially on the right and conservatives, that this is all about election interference to prevent Donald Trump from moving forward in his candidacy. Now, he is by a landslide. He is leading the Republican field to be the nominee, which is why he skipped all the debates. He's like, look, there's no value for me to be in the debates. But still, all of the polling now shows that he's winning 4 out of the 5 battleground states that Biden won in 2020. Mm-hmm. He is on a head-to-head matchup with Biden. He's winning. And by 6 points in some areas. And that really has the Democrats worried. Honestly, if you really wanted to show that America has free and fair elections, you have got to just stop this political persecution, or even the perception of political persecution. The interesting thing is Democrats like to throw around labels and bad words, mainly because they can't make an argument, and they just want to end the argument by saying, "Oh, you're a racist," or "You're a bigot." But the most common one that's being used is this is a threat to democracy. This is the end of democracy. In fact, the president of the Teachers Union has just recently said that school choice is a threat to democracy. So, I mean, that's the new buzzword.
And democracy is about choosing what it is you want, and they are the ones removing choices.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole irony of this whole thing.
Yep. So I think they're the ones guilty of their own charges.
Well, the Supreme Court is going to, again, they don't want to be here, but because Colorado has done this, they now need to rule for all 50 states and not just Colorado. And it's on a short suspense. They need to get this thing done by January 4th. Because, again, like we talked about, the 5th is the deadline to be on the ballot. And Colorado has emphatically stated that they will not add anybody. They will not change their rules to add anybody, after the 5th. And so it is right now. Anyway, we wanted to bring this special presentation of Azimuth podcast to you because this is absolutely just breaking news. And so we wanted to get this to you as soon as possible. Yeah, I mean, this is just absolutely amazing and unprecedented. And there's been a lot of unprecedented things happening this year and in the political realm. And we're just glad that we can be with you and get you this information. Thank you so much, and stay tuned after these messages.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.